Hello, this is Benjamin with ARI, your website company, and this video will be a basic overview of the CMS Editor. Now, you may be asking yourself, didn't you already make a Level 1 CMS Editor walkthrough? Yes, I did. But as of May 15th of this year, there was a major change to the left-hand menu of the editor. Some menus were gotten rid of, and some were completely reorganized. And because there were a number of other updates as well, I thought it was time that we do a new video on walking through some of the basics. Let's get started with the most preliminary of things. To log into the CMS editor, the address that you'll type into your address bar is the one that you see up above. That is ari-cms.com. That will get you to the login screen for the editor. On the login screen, it will ask you for your username and password. Your username will be your business email that you use on a day-to-day basis, and your password will be whatever your implementation specialist has assigned you. Now, in the rare event that for whatever reason you are not able to log in, you do have a forgot password function at the bottom of that screen that you can use to reset your password to whatever you like. Once you do get logged in, this will be the very first page that you see, known as the dashboard. On the dashboard, you have quite a bit of useful information and some handy tools as well. First, you have your traffic right up top for month to date. You have total lead based on source. You have quick links, which are some of the more popular and more used features within the editor. Top page views. Visitors broken down by device. Your account information, which will just be the individual that is put as the head of your editing your website, as well as your address and other contact information. Manage users. If you just want to view the current users that are signed up to use this editor, you can click on users and just view them. If you need to create a new user account for one of your employees, click on the plus over to the right, and you can go in and create a new account. All you need to create an account is a first and last name and a business email. And of course, you will need to create a password for them as well. After you create it, you can simply email that over to them and they can log in and get started. Down beneath here in Sites, we have more handy tools in which you can use. You have Request Update. This tool can only be used once your site has gone live. But if you get into the issue of, oh, my site just went live and I either don't know how to do something or don't have time to do it, or a mixture of the two, you can request that we do it for you. Now, you can either email updates directly, or you can fill out this handy-dandy pre-specified form down below. And then down here, you have more resources of some of the more used tools within the editor. Let's continue on. Underneath Admin, first you have Account Info, which is doubled from the area that we talked about earlier. Account Info is just your head person designated to make changes within the editor. You have your address information. You have your business information, and any type of contact information as well. Users, again, this is where you can see current users or create new user accounts. Resources we won't be touching on for now, but that will be covered in subsequent videos coming up relatively soon. Marketplace, this is where you can add in, or rather where we internally can add features to your site. Now, depending on what the actual feature is, it may or may not cost you anything. A majority of the time, this will be used internally only. Setup tools. The diagnostic default data model you will not be using, but the integrations you might. If you have inventory integrations or point of sale integrations with the system, you can go in and get a report of how those particular systems are doing, such as how much data flow that you're getting from that integration, that third-party program, into here, when it was originally sunk with the editor, and if it is still up and working. Dealer info. Underneath here, you have locations and hours of operation. Locations, we're going to go ahead and dive into right now. Once this page comes up, there are 3 tabs you will want to check for any misinformation. Those 3 tabs are Details, Sales and Lead Management, and Online Scheduling. Details is nothing more than your business name, address, and general contact information down below. Sales and lead management is exactly what it sounds like. Over to the left, you have a list of every single form that your customer can fill out on your site. As of right now, the only one that is receiving automated email notifications with the complete Contact Us form in that email is the individual in the primary email address location. However, if there's additional members of your team that you'd also like to receive those completed contact forms and an email notification, you can fill in as many extra addresses as you like down in the CC field. Just make sure to follow our example formatting down below, and the system will work as intended. And just in case it wasn't clear by the example, you type in your first email, a semicolon, a space, and the next email, so on and so forth. Online scheduling. If at some point you would like to give your customers the ability to schedule a service or repair appointment directly from the services page on your site, you can go through and check the active up top and then set all of your parameters down below. Now, let this be known that all it does is generate a basic form of a contact form. For actually scheduling that specific time and day with that particular customer, you will have to follow up with a phone call or an email. If you do want actual live responsive scheduling, you can implement what's called an open Google Calendar or a public Google Calendar onto your site. With an open or a public Google Calendar, you would actually be able to block off on a day-to-day basis the time slots that your technicians have open, and people could book a specific time slot. And once a particular time is booked on a certain day, no one else would have that option, and it would block that particular time slot off as being not available. If you're interested in not using this, but using either an open or a public Google Calendar, you can ask your implementation specialist, or if your website is already live, your account manager. Next, we'll jump into hours of operation. Once the hours of operation page is loaded, this is what you'll see. For each group of hours that you're going to create, you'll hit New Group over to the right. When you do, it'll create a blank group. To go in and actually give details, you'll go to that green bar, go all the way over to the right, and click on Details. First thing you want to do is name the group. Now, this name does show up on the site, so you could just call them summer hours, winter hours, general hours of operation, whatever you like. Owner, you will want to leave this as all sites, just in case you do want to get another website with us and you want to carry these hours over to that secondary site. Group description is optional, but you could say something like, these are our hours between this date and this date every year if you like. And then for each group of hours, you'll click on New Hours, and it'll give you a blank bar. Let's look at these as an example. So the first one says Monday through Friday, abbreviated, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Perfect, and that's Monday through Friday. So then Saturday and Sunday, we have closed. Now, the advantage of this hours of operation dedicated tool, if you will, is that you can have multiple different groups of hours of operation. The reason this is so handy is you can have your regular hours of operation, you can have your winter hours of operation, or operation around holidays such as New Year's, Christmas, Memorial Day weekend, whatever it may be. Now, the only hours that will show up on the site are the ones where the active box is checked and listed in this green color. If you uncheck it on whichever group of hours, it is going to turn white and the active box will be empty. And then the only group will show up on the bottom of your website, as well as on the About Us page on your website as well. Now, the reason this is so handy is you can have your summer hours turned on, and then when winter hours comes along, rather than deleting your summer hours and having to create it next year, you can just simply deactivate it instead. Next, we'll journey into our left-hand menu and go into content. Now, content contains a lot of tools. It's sort of the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the editor. First, you have pages. Now, pages is what you'll go into if you need to edit any of the written paragraphs that you have on various pages of your site. It includes a very simplistic editor in which you can go in and edit things like spelling, grammar, add in pictures, hyperlinks, YouTube videos, and a few other formats of media as well. Page assets. Let's say that you have a paragraph on a page that you would like to also have on another page. Each paragraph is saved within a page asset. Think of it as a block of information that you can place on multiple pages if you wish. So rather than having to retype that paragraph, you can take that page asset and feature it on multiple pages. What's also cool about this is if you need to edit that page asset on multiple pages, you can edit it in one place and it will change in both. Navigation. Navigation is where you'll edit the navigation that you find on the top of your home page and really every page for that matter. Two spaces that you can edit using the navigation are this. Let's click over to our site. You can edit both the parent and child links that you see in the primary navigation. So the parent links would be the links like services, about us, and the rest of them that appear when the page first loads. And then all of the child links would be the drop downs that you see underneath these parent links like CDU PWC or Mastercraft Wake Boats. something like that. Now, the tools within the navigation tool are mostly drag and drop. And to be perfectly honest with you, in the almost 8 years that I've been doing this, it is my favorite tool within the editor just because of how intuitive and easy it is to use. Dropping back to our editor, next you have Merge Slideshow, which is going to edit those large rotating banners that you have at the top or near the top of your homepage. In most cases, it will be within the hero shot area, which when I refer to the hero shot area, I simply mean the large graphic that we have at the top of your page that goes in between your main navigation and either a product group or your homepage paragraph. In other words, the next block of information, if you will. To edit these promotions that you have in this carousel, we'll jump back to your editor, and here you have all of the active promotions that are showing on your homepage. To edit the order of these offers, you can click drag and drop. To remove any of these offers, you can click remove. And something to be mentioned, unlike all the rest of the pages within the editor, there is no save button that you see in the lower left or lower right. So if you do make a change here, in order to make sure that change shows up on the site, you simply skip to your second step of clicking on the name of your business in the upper right-hand corner and running that publish changes to carry that series of save changes from the editor to appearing over on the site. Now, a note about these save and publish changes. You can make as many saves as you want within any feature in the left-hand menu that you see. And as long as you are saving your changes, you can either choose to publish your changes after every single save, or you can do it right before you log out of the system and push everything to the site all at once. Traditionally speaking, the people that are first beginning the system, I find that they are more often publishing after every single save just because they're not entirely sure what the changes they're making in the editor are going to do on their site just as of yet. There are 3 different types of offers you can add in here. There are factory promotions, which are the newest promotions on financing deals, sales, military discounts, and other things like that. Pre-designed offer are generic offers made in-house for brands or types of equipment that may not have a factory promotion going on right at the moment. For instance, let's say that you carry Yamaha motorcycles, and right now there's no financing deals or any large promotions going on with them that you see in the factory promotions. You would be able to jump into pre-designed offers and at least find a generic slide that says Yamaha motorcycles within there, so you can still advertise that you carry that and push customers towards that particular brand and type of equipment. And if you can't find what you're looking for in either factory promotions or pre-designed offer, you can go to custom offer and design one of these offers completely from scratch. You can have a maximum of 10 offers within this area. ARI recommends a maximum of somewhere between 3 and 5. OEM promotions we won't talk about at the moment, but we will talk about services. On the services page of your site, you may have dedicated buttons with the title of each one of the repair services that you have available. Above that repair service name will be an icon. Now, the icon can either be one of our selected pre-made icons. I believe there's something like 114 in there, or something truly absurd like that. Or you can also upload your own image as that icon as well. For instance, let's say that during the spring months, you really like to promote your zero-turn service. You could take a picture of your lead technician working on a zero-turn mower and then have that as the icon rather than just a generic outline or shape. You can give details of the service, what is actually done and performed in that service, as well as provide a price if you like. Staff. This is exactly what it sounds like. You can add in your staff members. The only required field is their first and last name and their position. The rest of it is optional. If you want to provide a specific email and phone number, that will be viewable on the site that your customers can reach out to that specific department or individual you can. You can include a bio on that individual if you like. And of course, you can include a headshot as well. But just to repeat myself for emphasis, the only thing that is required is their first and last name and their department. All of the staff page is divided up by department. So you'll first define the department, and then within that department, define all the different individuals. Galleries. If you've recently been to an event at a local expo, let's say a Power Sports, Marine, or OPE expo, and you'd like to provide photos of some of your fan interactions or customer interactions that you had while you were there, you can definitely use galleries for that. Or let's say that you had a demo day or a customer appreciation event just this last couple days, and you want to post pictures from that in order to say, hey, we're an integral part of a community. Don't be afraid to come on down and see us, to promote that general message. That is exactly what galleries is for. For each image that you lay in there, you can give a description and also provide an HTML link to some other page on your site if you like. Events. This is closely related with galleries above it. If you plan on being part of an event, let's say sponsoring a runner at a nearby marathon, sponsoring a little league team by paying for a portion of their trophy fund or their uniforms or something, or you're going to be at a power sports, marine, or any other type of show expo, and you want to give details of that on your event page, come on down and see us at the Sarasota, Florida Marine Expo at booth number 1812. We'd be more than happy to see your friendly faces or something like that. Coupons we won't touch on at the moment, but it will be covered in subsequent videos. Search configuration. If you have a search bar at the top of your homepage, here is what you're going to use to control that. Here is exactly what it controls. If you want to control the clue that you have within inside, in other words, this temporary text that says search for your dream machine or find the best unit for you today, if you want to control that text, that's where you do that, as well as if you want to set whether it to be searched only for large equipment or to search your e-commerce page or both. That is what that search configuration area will do for you. Next, we have Showcase. Within Showcase, you have quite a few tools that will be used mostly to edit the information that you see on the new models page. First off, you have Product Manager. Now, in most cases, for the brochure information that we have on the new models page, the MSRP will be shown. However, it will not be shown on all brands, occasionally due to restrictions and sales areas and things of that nature, sales districts rather. We are either not able to list prices or simply not be able to list them accurately. So rather than listing them inaccurately, we simply will list the items as call for price. One of the first things that you can do within the product manager is go in and edit the price of specific models that you see underneath each one of these catalogs. You can also do things like add additional information to these particular items descriptions, and as long as it's not HTML, it will be accepted. And that can all be done underneath the product manager. Now, catalogs. Catalogs is where you select both the manufacturers that you want to see here, and underneath each one of these manufacturers, the types and years lineups that you want to see underneath each one of these. Brand Editor. Now, this allows you to do quite a few things. It allows you to go in and set the order in which these manufacturers show up on this page. And when you click into the brand, it allows you to set the order in which the types of equipment are going to be listed. It also allows you to change two different pictures. The initial picture when someone lands here, and then on the categories of equipment that you find within each manufacturer, it'll allow you to change those images as well. It used to be that you could drill down all the way to the specific unit type and change the image. However, due to concerns from the manufacturer, you're not able to dive that deep anymore. Custom catalogs. If there is a manufacturer that we do not have the information for sort of baked in, if you will, you can go into custom catalogs and it will display on this page in the order that you choose. And unless you tell your customers otherwise, they won't know any difference between one of our stock baked in catalogs and the one that you put in here. Then we have sales. Sales I'm not going to touch on today simply because it is a legacy tool that for the most part is not used anymore. Next, we'll jump down to inventory. And I'll touch on this lightly and then come back to it. So inventory is where you're going to add in all of your new, used, and new non-current units that you have in location that you want to showcase on the site. Down beneath here, e-commerce. If you do want to actively sell things online, whether it be items from a set distributor and the information that we can carry to you, or from a private catalog, as they call it, and items that you have that we do not have information for that you'd like to actively list and sell on the e-commerce page of your site, e-commerce is where you'll do that. Leads is only to be used in emergency situations. Here's what I mean. When you are set up with a site with us, you're either going to use a domain-based email that we have through our black tie system, or you're going to be using your email from a previous website such as Google, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever it may be. The reason that I say the leads is only used in emergency situations is if you reply within the lead section, that notification that you replied to that customer does not feed back to your regular email system. So truly, the only time that you're going to use that is if your main email system goes down for some reason. We wanted you to have a way in which you could still respond to your customers. The only disadvantage, other than the one that I previously listed, is that you're only able to respond in plain black text and not in rich text, bold text, or HTML format using that leads. So you are better off communicating through your regular email inbox. Now let's go ahead and jump back to inventory. We'll go into inventory and into inventory manager. Now we're actually going to go through the process and add a unit in manually one by one. And I want to say before we continue any further, if you have CDK Lightspeed, either Evo or PLI, you will not be entering units in this manner, and you will want to watch my up-and-coming video and written training paragraph on how to best add unit information when using the CDK Lightspeed platform. But for today, we'll start by clicking on Add Unit Inventory. Once you reach this page, there's two ways in which you can enter your unit information. You can either do it line by line manually down beneath the unit model and details, or if you want a majority of this information filled in for you, you can use the automated lookup up above. Just type in your unit's information in the specific order that they list here. After you begin to type, it will list out a long list of suggestions. When you find the specific submodel or skeleton of that particular unit you want to list, you'll click it from that drop-down list, and that is when it will go through and fill in most of these fields down beneath here for you. So we'll go ahead and start with a simple example. We'll type in first 2023, and let's paste in our model name that we want to use, and it should bring up some suggestions. Perfect, that's the exact one I was looking for. So we'll go ahead and click the suggestion. When we do, it fills in the rest of the information down below for us, filling in down below. One particular area that you'll always want to have filled in for every single unit every time is your link to field. As long as it matches the model line directly above it, you've done it correctly. What that link to field does is it brings in all the original manufacturer specifications like basic measurements, fuel capacity, types of electronics used, that kind of thing, as well as some stock photos. Next we have display and showcase. If you want this unit to appear both on your dedicated inventory page, as well as in that new models page that we spoke about earlier, then you'll want to have that checked. Stock number and VIN are not required, but if you have them, I highly suggest that you type them in. And the VIN number can be substituted with a serial number as well, and it will work just fine. Location is, of course, where that particular unit is sitting. And if you have multiple locations, make sure that before you enter in any of your inventory that they are both listed in this dropdown. If they're not, get a hold of your implementation specialist, or if your site is already live, your account manager, and make sure that they get it added. And if this is a brokerage unit, a unit that you are selling for another business or a private individual, and you want to list the address of where the unit is actually residing, you can check this box and it'll give you all the fields to do so. In the upper right hand corner we have title and condition, which are both required. Color and trim color are optional. New and used, required. Well, this one is new, so we'll select that. Usage unit is just a goofy way of stating what type of use is on the unit. The choices we have here are hours, miles, or kilometers. For today we'll say miles. And because this one is brand new, usage value, which is a required field, 0. Base price. If you'd like to list a price for the unit, you can select web price, and it opens up the field down below for you to type in that dollar amount. Or, if you don't want to list a price for the unit, you can select one of the many other labels that you see. One of the most popular would be call for price. Best price, optional. This is primarily used on new units. This is a legal way of skirting around the minimum advertised price policies. In other words, if a manufacturer contacts you and says, hey, you cannot list this unit on your site for anything less than MSRP, otherwise it's a breach of your contract, but you know full well that you can sell that unit for less than MSRP and still clear a healthy profit, you can type in that best price here. It generates a best price button on the listing. When your customer clicks on it, it'll ask you for your name and email, and then you'll go through and click submit. When they do, it sends an immediate private email with this lower price in it, and at that point you can begin the negotiations. Destination charge is any charge associated with getting the unit from the manufacturer to your location that you'd like to pass on to your customer. Description. This is a great place to list any damage to the unit from the past owner, any factory extras, and if you're going to sell this as part of a package. For instance, with this street bike package, you could sell it as a beginner package and offer a discount on their riding gear, such as helmet, gloves, suit, and boots. Or maybe you even include a specialty trailer to haul it in inclement weather. We'll go ahead and hit save and move on to our next required area. Our next required area is specs and features. Now, because we did our due diligence and made sure that link to is filled in correctly, we should see some specs here. And we do. Now, because this information is pulled in directly from the manufacturer, the odds of it being incorrect are few and far between. But let's say the last person that owned this bike was a bit of a speed freak, had the engine set off to a specialty shop in which they polished and ported the engine, and now instead of 745cc, it is an even 800. If you need to change a detail like that, either in the main description or this table that you see over to the right, all you have to do is flip over to Used Customize, and you can change and add anything that you want to either one of these areas. Manage images. Now again, because we filled in that link to, we should have some images. Now the number one question that I get is, Ben, how many images will be on the unit when the information comes in from the link to? And my answer is it varies very widely depending on the unit, the manufacturer, and the type of unit. I've seen as many as 190 pictures, stock images, and as little as 1. Just greatly depends. If you want to add in your own images that you have took, either in conjunction or as a stock replacement for this image, you can click on Add Custom Images. When this pulls up, it'll always be on the File Browse tab by default. But to begin uploading files from your computer, you'll go to the right, select Upload, and then to the far left of Upload, you'll select Files. Once your file browser comes up, we can jump into Pictures, and we're just going to grab some random images off of my computer for today. So let's grab this one. Once you've got the first image selected, hold down the Control key and select your second image, or third or fourth or fifth, or how many ever you want to do. Click Open. You'll know the images are completely uploaded once you see a full green status bar and 100%. Once it's done that, it has added that image to the Browse tab. Now you don't immediately need to add on all the images that you just uploaded if you don't want to. You can pick and choose from the group. Any of the images that you see entered as thumbnails down here will get added to the bottom of this list in the same order you see the thumbnails down here. We'll hit Choose Selected Images to drop that one in. The order of the images can be adjusted by using the up and down arrows that you see here, or let's say you get in this scenario, you have a lot of images. Towards the middle of the group, you have an image you'd like to display first, but for whatever reason, you don't want to move it all the way to the top. Easy. Select the primary radio button to the left of that image. It'll display that image first, and then the rest of the logical order that it will follow will be from the top of the list to the bottom. Now, obviously, this side-by-side, I believe from Heisling, has nothing to do with this bike, so delete. Okay, and it's gone. One tool that we've had for about a year now is the Add Custom Caption. Now, let's say that you get a used unit that has some light damage on it, and you want to be very thorough and straightforward and honest and want to list the damage that's been done to that unit, and you want to dictate that on a specific image of that unit. Well, you can add a custom caption to each one of your images. Now, not only does that give your customer a better idea of what they're buying, but also, and I don't know how this works, but I know that it does, if you add a caption to one or more of your images, it increases the chances of someone performing a local Google search and ending up on that type, brand, or subtype of unit on your site. Edit visibility. Here we have 3 important areas. We'll start with the most important. Sales channels. By default, for every unit that you add in through this tool, all sales channels will be checked when you get here. If the ARI website was to become unchecked before the final save and publish, then this unit would not be listed on the site and only here in the editor. Other examples of popular sales channels that I see on a daily basis would be sales channels like Auction123, Kijiji, Backlist, Cycle Trader, and quite a few others. Depending on which package you got from us, you could see as many as 13 different sales channels listed here. Over to the right, you have product groups. Rather than trying to explain to you what a product group is, let's just show you. We'll jump back to the home page of my site, and we'll scroll down. And here is the first product group. These product groups add in these units information. You can see the first picture, year, make, model, and price. The only restriction with these product groups is you can add a max of 50 products to each product group, but you can call the product group whatever you want, and is list as many different types of units as you want within each group. Now it can be whole vehicles as well as e-commerce as well. The limit of product groups that you can have on the home page is 10. But the actual full limit of product groups you can have as a total, there is no limit. And let's go through some of the other examples of product groups I have here. I have Honda, BWC, Ducati, top sellers, our favorites, side-by-side UTV, all ATVs, and there you have it. And of course, to add to one of those product groups, you'd simply check off their corresponding boxes, save,
and publish. We'll go ahead and click Save. This will lead us back to the first page of the Inventory Manager. There we are. Now we'll go ahead and click on the name of our business, select Publish Changes. That will go through and publish. And you can see success, changes have been published. Great. Now we'll go ahead and highlight, right-click, copy that model information, jump back over to our site, and act just like a customer and search for that unit. Now, if this search is working correctly, we should see this unit pop up within the first 6 search results that you see on the next page. And there it is right up top. The image I told it to use, call for price, has a disclosure about the add-on charges for delivery, listed as in stock. Let's click on View Details. Now, underneath that really nice image that was provided from Honda, you've got all these specs and features. Now, one question I get a lot is, Ben, I am going to sell this as 3 different package types. I typed that in here on the first page down in the description right here. Where is that going to show up on the actual listing? That will show up as a third tab right here that will say Dealer, Insight, and Notes. We'll jump back to your editor, back to our dashboard. Before I go, I'd like to point out some areas within the editor in which you can get help for yourself. The first of which is in the upper right-hand corner. You have the Help Center. Now, when you click on Help Center, you get the direct email and phone number of our technical support team. You can get a hold of them. Or if you don't want to contact anyone and you simply want to teach yourself to do it, within the Help Center, you have a plethora of step-by-step written articles with images, as well as full in-depth training videos that I've made. The second place that you can get help on the dashboard is in this right column. You have Request Update. This can only be used once your site has gone live. However, let's say you get in a situation of my site just went live. I either don't know how to do this particular change, don't have time, or a combination of both. You can request that we do it either with the pre-made form or just by typing in this email. That is all I have for you today, folks. I want to thank you very much for your time. And until I talk to all of you again, have a great rest of your day.